Villa no major trophy since 1996. I mean, the way Dan talks every week, you'd think they'd won something last year.
I mean, I pretty much mentioned that we've not won anything since 96 every week.
It's not how you tweet. It's not how you message. I mean, the energy's like you're serial winners. I mean, nothing since 96. And he said 66. Nothing since 96. Wow, I didn't really realise that. I thought it was more recent than that.
The fact that you've referenced 66 and I support England and Villa tells me that I'm slightly cursed with football.
I'm only playing, but you are through to the semi-finals of the FA Cup. A massive, massive achievement for Unai Emery and a massive achievement for Aston Villa with a real chance now. If you look at the draws and how many teams fell out of it, this is a brilliant chance for someone other than the traditional big teams to be winning a trophy. Rashford scored a couple. Do you take him in the summer though? He's scored. He's off the mark. He's off the mark now. He's doing well. What's he got? 2 goals, 4 assists, I think, in the 10, 11 games. He's looking, confident. Do you want him?
He's been really good. I think he's done most things that could have been asked of him. Obviously, I'm sure he himself would have preferred a few more goals. It's taken him a while to get off the mark, but in that time where he wasn't scoring, he was producing, he was getting assists, he was coming on and changing games, he was starting games and being direct, working hard. So he's done pretty much everything that's been asked of him and has formed what has been a good Villa team since he joined. I think we've looked better as a team since January. I think Villa had a really, really good January in the way they bolstered the squad, the way they manoeuvred their squad. I think they're stronger than they were before the transfer window opened in January. So I've got nothing but praise for Marcus Rashford. It's one of those where nobody needs to make a decision now. He doesn't need to. The club don't need to. I'm sure Manchester United would like to get some money as soon as possible. But we'll see where we are at the end of the season. At the moment, if it happened for 40 million the way he's been playing, I'd be perfectly happy.
There's still a lot to unfold. I think that's what's there, is that there's still actually quite a lot to unfold here because you're on the cusp of doing something, brilliant. If you win this trophy, of course, quarterfinals of the Champions League as well. So it's a really good time at Villa, pushing for top 4 as well. Let's not forget that. So, if you achieve some big objectives and really set the stall out of like what this new Villa team can be, the complexity of what it looks like for Marcus Rashford to stay there could change. If we don't get Champions League, don't win one of the cups, which obviously Champions League is extremely hard, but you're in it. If you don't win any of those and you don't get the top 4, I think that would make it easier for him. I just, as a United fan, knowing where I think his aspirations are or how he sees himself, and I don't mean this as a disrespect of it, I think he would have started out thinking, Barca, the big boys in Europe. But I look at it like Villa could be the perfect place for him. I don't think he should get caught up on I'm Marcus Rashford, I need to play for this caliber club. Villa are going places. They've got a top draw manager. They've got really good players. They play good football. And more importantly, they play football, from what I can see, you can enlighten me, that suits Marcus Rashford as well. It suits his style of play. It suits his attributes. They want to get the ball forward quickly to the wings when he's playing out there, very direct. It allows him to be what I know Marcus Rashford can be, I think. So I think it'll be interesting to see. I mean, actually, let's hear from Manchester United boss Ruben Amorim, because he was asked about the future of Marcus Rashford and his other lone winger, Anthony, and if he's been keeping an eye on all of their progress.
I know Rashford really well, and everybody knows the talent that he has. So I already spoke about that. He's a top player if he wants. So I'm not surprised. And like I said, it's the same with Anthony. It's a good thing. We see our players doing well on loan in a different context. That can happen. It's a good sign for the club.
If he wants it and if the club wants it, there is still a teacher here for him.
Guys, let's focus on the game. We are really happy for our players that are on loan doing well.
Ken.
Sorry, I was just going to ask if Anthony is in the same situation as Rashford. We appreciate that you've got games, but you're also planning for the future. So in your head, can you envisage Anthony and Rashford being part of your squad next season?
I'm planning the future, but I don't want to talk about the future in this moment. I just want to focus on the game.
Good answers, Ruben.
There's more chance of you playing for Manchester United than Rashford or Anthony playing for them again, I would have thought.
Listen, you never know what happens in football, but I do probably agree with you.
He doesn't want them, does he? It's not part of his plan.
He doesn't, and he can't. No need for him to say that. He says that why are you devaluing players that are doing well on loan? What's the point? You talk too much. Good answers, just don't get involved. So I want to talk about the game. I expect that, but Anthony's doing amazing at Betis. He's got his top off. He's celebrating with the fans. They won in the derby the other day against Sevilla. He's doing really well, and Marcus Rashford's doing well. And as a United fan, for players that I've seen where it just hasn't worked, I do want them to thrive. I want them to flourish. I want their careers to reignite. Man United can demand fees that, can help us because we need the money, and we all go our separate ways.
I mean, I know you weren't disrespecting Villa. Obviously, I'm aware Villa aren't as big a club as Barcelona, which is what you were saying. But what I would say is that Marcus Rashford is working under a top manager.
Agreed.
A better manager than he's probably worked under for the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
At Manchester United. No disrespect to Amorim, but Unai Emery is a better manager and a better coach at this current time, than Ruben Amorim. So Rashford's come to Villa and fulfilled a lot of objectives already back in the England team, not just the squad. He's played 2 games for England last week, which
wasn't great in them games.
But it was still unthinkable that he would have started for England a couple of months ago.
Yeah, shows how quickly
you just wouldn't have thought that would happen at all. So I take your point with what you're saying about Villa, but if Villa can manage to get top 5 and qualify for the Champions League, if Villa can win a trophy, imagine if Marcus Rashford scores the winner for Villa in an FA Cup semi-final or a final.
He'll stay.
The fans are going to want him.
Yeah,
it's up to him.
Do you think they want him now? What's it like in the fan base? Who you speak to?
I think Villa fans are cautious.
Really?
I think, like I said, there's no need for any decision to be made now. I think Villa fans would want to see a bit more body of work, see how he goes towards the end of the season. But he's doing well. There's no denying it. I'm not saying he's setting the world on fire. But he's doing really, really well, and there's a key component in Villa's team at the moment. Emery's come up with a system for certain games that he's kind of built around Marcus Rashford. I'm sure he's put his arm around him and given him some love. Emery's a good coach, but he's a good man manager as well. The players like playing for him. So far, if it goes well, we get to the end of the season and Villa have won a trophy or Villa have finished top 5 and he's been a part of that, I think from his perspective, he'd be stupid to leave Villa because he's gone somewhere where it's proven to go well. And, players at Villa under this manager tend to thrive.
They improve, and that's the bit I agree with, and I was just touching on before, that any sort of ego and like the Rashford, the brand, like I said, I've been a big believer that the Rashford, the brand has just been built up so high that it superseded, Rashford, the footballer. And I don't mean it as in like the things he done for the kids. We don't talk about that. That's unbelievable what he's done.
Yeah.
I mean the brand of like how good he is and how, how important his words are. He doesn't do many interviews and that sort of big player aura. And it hasn't always matched what we've seen on the pitch. And I think that should just be dropped. Forget, I should be at Barca. I see that. Like,
I don't think he's ever said that. I think there's a lot of things that are misconstrued around Marcus Rashford.
I can't explain it.
Maybe sometimes it's people around him kind of portraying that message.
That's what I mean. I think all of that just needs to go. Get him playing football, and it doesn't matter what club it is, get him playing regularly. And if it's Villa, great. Like you said, they've got all of the right resources. They've got a top manager, big fan base. And if they're in the Champions League, what more do you make? Obviously, yes, I want to fight for the title. Like I want to win leagues. Like he could maybe say that. Maybe Villa aren't in a position to win a league right now. But other than that, he's pretty much ticked every. If you win something, if you win the FA Cup, I don't think it's a discussion.
No, if he's a big part of it, let's face it, he could get injured tomorrow and not play again for the rest of the season. So I still do just think the rest of the season plays a huge part in this journey and what happens with Marcus Rashford. And I've mentioned people around players as well. That is always an important thing. What family want and what entourage wants. But my understanding of it is at the moment, everyone in Marcus Rashford's camp is really, really enjoying being there. It's a fresh start. He's kind of revitalised himself. He looks like he's got some energy again. There's less noise around him. It's fair, that when he's playing for Manchester United, if he hadn't have scored for that long, people are piling in on him and there's been asked questions. At Villa, he doesn't get that. People are pointing that he's got assists. That's a good thing for him at this stage after the last couple of years he's had, where he has had a bit of a rough ride, and in my opinion, he had become a bit of a scapegoat at Manchester United. Again, I'm not saying he didn't do things wrong, but he's in an environment where most people are failing, and he becomes the poster boy of that because of who he is, and he's an academy player, and they're sometimes held to a different standard. A Villa move has refreshed him and revitalised him. And when I watch him for Villa, when he picks up the ball, the crowd are genuinely excited. He's got the raw attributes. He, when he gets going, when he's running with the ball, he's frightening.
Seen it, mate. Yeah, I see. And when you see him in person, like you said, you saw how big he is, how lean he is.
Bigger than I thought
he was.
And
that's the Rashford I miss seeing. But I've just seen it not be consistent enough for so long. So hopefully that is the biggest thing that changes, the consistency. Marcus Rashford doing well at Aston Villa. You're listening to talkSPORT 2 Social with William Hill, 18+, begambleaware.org.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.